Alright, hello and welcome everyone, this is Ace. Last video we did BFD. We took a look at the rogue and we found a couple of issues with the rogue and I fixed them. One of them, well, not particularly with the rogue, but when the companions were getting routed and they were like on their way to going somewhere, no matter where, they were getting routed by a frost nova, for example, and they wouldn't stop moving as you'd expect. I sort of fixed that one, but like on a companion level, not on a core level, which is where I would think that should have already been the case. But nonetheless, it should be fixed now. Another problem was that the rogue was stuck in stealth and not attacking. That had something to do with... it was just kind of a bug, so I fixed that one, and now it was caused by, you know, the rogue at level 24 only had access to the garrote, and for the garrote to be usable, it has to pass multiple checks, and one of them was that the target needed a time to kill longer than 18 or so seconds. And as it happened, if the target was lower than that, then the rogue would just be standing there behind the target waiting for nothing. When what he's supposed to do in that situation is just open up and attack with like normal auto attack or something like that. Later on, when if he had daggers, he would ambush, but he had swords, so garrote was the only option. No cheap shot available, so in that case, he should just auto attack, really. Again, you can argue with the fact that maybe he shouldn't be stealthing. You have the option to deny that if you don't like it. In this video, we'll take a look at the priest. We'll start with the priest healer. We've been using priests so far. They've been doing a good job, in my opinion. I mean, we've had some pretty scary pulls, some big pulls in the previous videos, and they seem to handle it just fine. And in my opinion, the priests, from my limited tests so far, I would say they're probably the best healer. If for no other reason but because they have quite a lot of tools to deal with many different situations. I'm not saying that the other healers are not, equipped, but the priests just have so many tools, and I don't know, they just seem to be good at their job. So we'll take a look at them. Let me pull out the code. What did I change for the priests? Again, if you watch the previous videos, for the healers, I staggered their heals, unlike on the vanilla server, where their healing logic is only called in like one place, and that's kind of it. And I think it was like, yeah, if anybody is injured below 100%, then try to heal them in like the one place. So what I did for TPC and what I try to do for all the healers is stagger their heals where they have like multiple steps, like 3, for example, the priest has. The first one being if the target is below 50%, if the target is below 75 or below 100%, which is like heal all the time. Heal all the time, that part, the final part, only happens when fighting bosses. But the first part, healing below 50%, is literally at the very, very top, like the first thing they look at. They try to see if they can heal someone who may be below 50%. The priest had quite a few healing spells, like Prayer of Healing. I had to figure out when to use that, and to kind of I told them, hey, look for 5 for 5 allies. He can Prayer of Healing can only heal within the party, so look for 5 allies who are below 75% when you use this. This is a very strong heal, very efficient. They're also gonna try to use Inner Focus when it's possible to do that. But yeah, the first thing they do, they try to single target heal when someone is below 50%, nothing else, just do that. They're also going to use binding heal. Binding heal is sort of like a flash heal, but more efficient. Like I would say maybe 50% to 100% more efficient, because it not only heals the target, but also heals the priest himself, which in many situations is extremely advantageous. Yeah, just because the priest, if you've seen in the previous videos, it happens quite often for the priest to pull aggro. It, you know, it is what it is. So this binding heal is probably one of his best tools, and it's one of the reasons why, at least I don't remember at what level he gets this, but whenever he does get it, you'll notice, and I'll call it out when I see it, but you know, I'm not sure if it will happen now, but later on in the higher dungeons, I'll call out when I see this, and I'll raise awareness to the fact that, hey, look, this is really good, right? So there's that. They also do pre-healing, by the way. All the healers do pre-healing. I don't think it's appropriate to talk about pre-healing when we're talking about dungeons, because you shouldn't really need that to happen. Oh crap, I just remember when we were doing Wailing Caverns, I think I was going to watch out for healing the NPC guy using the focus mark, but I don't know if that happens, so I'm just going to write a note on my to-do list. Check if the healer can heal the focused NPC. Yeah, just that. Check if that can happen. It's very important. I'm not sure. Well, we didn't need it then because they did a good job picking up all the ads. But for other escort quests and some such, you might find that very useful. So, yeah, this whole staggering of the heals has been quite productive because in between the staggering, what happens? So, step number 1, heal a target, find a target who's below 50% and heal it. Cool. And step number 2, find a target who's below 75% and heal it. Cool. So in between the first and the second step, what do? Well, they do defensive abilities. They do mass dispels. I had to write some code for mass dispelling. I'll raise more awareness about it when the time comes, because they don't have it at this level. I think it's a high level thing. They do dispel priority dispels such as stuns, polymorphs, CCs, hard CCs, anything that's a hard CC. They prioritize dispelling that. They do power infusion. I think I wrote a set command for power infusion, so you can specify on which party member you want that to go to. Power shield, they use that if someone is below 50%, or a caster is trying to cast something and he's under attack. I remind you that power shield actually prevents casting pushback, so that's great. So yeah, just in general, defensive abilities, things like pain suppression. The companions will be using the discipline. Actually, not the healing companions, it's the DPS companions, right? I'll talk more about that in the next video. But they'll be using pain suppression on the tanks. It's really great for 40% damage reduction is quite a lot for 8 seconds is very good. You might wonder, what about the 5% threat? I would say for the most part it doesn't matter, or it shouldn't matter. And you may notice that it makes a difference under certain situations, like in a big pack of mobs, kind of, sort of, maybe. But we'll look more into that at the appropriate time. I did punch in, as we have seen in the previous video, racial spells. I think we saw priests doing star shards and chastise. Yeah, they have feedback. which is not gonna happen very often because he needs to be attacked by like 3 casters or something. That's, yeah, that's not very, yeah, I'm not sure when that's gonna happen. It's not really that great of a spell feedback. I have mixed feelings about it. He'll use Fade when he's being attacked in melee by 3+ enemies. He's going to Shackle Undead more or less on the same logic as polymorphing and fearing and all that jazz. Of course, they check to see if the target is undead and all that, so he's not gonna try to do it on just about anybody. What else do they have? So, in between the 50% and the 75% single target thresholds or staggers, let's say, they're gonna try to do AoE heals, and we saw quite a lot of Holy Nova in the previous videos, and I was happy about that because he was doing it intelligently at the correct time. So if you paid attention, when he used Holy Nova, he was using it when there were some allies being damaged or a lot of enemies around, and of course because the first stagger is looking for 50% and is doing single target, so don't think, oh, he's Holy Nova, he's not gonna heal you. No, he first of all is gonna check if someone is below 50%, and if that is the case, they'll single target heal. And second thing they do, they check for 75%, but in between they're like, yeah, you know, what else am I gonna do? Might as well just do some Holy Nova and some Prayer of Healing. He's doing a Circle of Healing. I found that one to be pretty good. I had to write some custom logic for Circle of Healing. Yeah, that's quite... it's quite a lot. Circle of Healing. He's looking for 4 guys to cast it on. What threshold is he looking for? It's kind of confusing. I would say something like 90% or something. It's kind of confusing what I try to do here. Again, the Circle of Healing logic is a little bit more difficult to understand, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But in my testing, it did seem to work pretty well. I think the advantage of Circle of Healing is that it's an AoE, but at a distance. So, yeah, I'm checking for all of those parameters. I'm checking for the health threshold and all that sub jazz. Apparently you heal within the same subgroup, so I don't know, it's kind of complicated. In practice it seemed to work kind of nice. They don't use it very often, but they do use it, so I'll raise awareness about it then, and we'll see if it looks odd. I'll look over the code. Again, for the priest I had to write a lot of custom code for these abilities because they're atypical, I would call them. Yeah, so after he's doing... oh, he's also doing Prayer of Mending. He's checking for attackers. Again, I had to write more custom code for that. Prayer of Mending is when you put like an aura buff on a target, and when that target gets attacked, that aura buff triggers and it heals the target. The cool part about it is that the threat associated with the healing goes to the target that it was on, which is really beneficial to even pre-cast that, I would say, on a tank, right? Because he's gonna take damage, he's gonna get healed, and the heal is gonna generate threat, which goes back to the tank, not the healer. So that's really good. He's casting some renews. He's looking for silence targets. Silence is a talent from the Poopy, from Shadow. They don't really spec into that, but your legacy companions might. Some low priority mass dispel. So the high priority mass dispel that goes in between the 50 and the 75 staggers, that one's looking for stuns and poop nuts, and you need like 4 or 5 targets to be eligible to use this. You'll see this happening in Sethek hulls quite a lot, and I'll draw attention to it then, and we'll discuss more about that one. Some more dispelling, low priority dispel, so just kind of dispel whatever, dispel diseases, also low priority. Then he's got a bunch of logic. So I'm talking now about in between the 75% stagger and the 100% stagger right now, right? So now he's looking to do some powered Shadow Word Death, right? So he's trying to help with DPS. He's gonna use Vampiric Touch, Shadow Word Pain, Star Shards. We saw that in the previous video. Devouring Plague, depending on the race, if he's undead. Chastise for Dwarf and Draenei, and we saw Chastise yesterday, right? So in between the 75th stagger and the 100% one, he's just gonna try to do a little bit of DPS, and then he has the final stagger where he's gonna heal at 100% only if a boss is attacking the group. So the group is fighting some kind of boss. And then below that, actually, it's kind of arguable, to be honest, because below that, yeah, it's very arguable. I put the Shadow Fiend. I should probably put the Shadow Fiend like way above, like maybe between the 50 and the 75 stagger. I think the Shadow Fiend, because if I put it below the 100% heal stagger, then if he's fighting a boss, how is he gonna cast that one? If he runs completely out of mana, but that's like kind of a bad situation. So yeah, I'm gonna put the Shadow Fiend in between the 50 and the 75th stagger, and he's gonna use that when he's below 50% mana, when the group is attacking at least 5 enemies or a boss sort of thing. And at the very, very, very bottom, there's the use wand. So even below the 100% stagger, which only happens when fighting bosses, he's going to be using wands. You did see him wanding every time and then. If I remember from the previous videos, the priest with the Holy Nova, he was providing somewhere between 5% and 10% of the DPS in the group. I mean, it's not 0%, right? And a lot of the times, especially when they were doing those big pulls, it really comes down to all the little things, you know. So maybe just wanding a little bit can help. I'm not sure, but it adds up. At very least, you're going a little bit faster clearing the dungeon, right? If, yeah, 10% of the whole damage, right? So not of his person. It's a multiplier in a sense. So you're going 10% faster. It's yeah, it's pretty fine. Especially if he's got nothing else to do, might as well just do something, you know. Give me a second. I'll be back in a second, and then we'll get on with this run. Well, alrighty then. So we're doing the Stockades in this video. What to go with? We're gonna use a priest healer. So yeah, warrior tank is fine. We're just gonna keep the usual lineup again, just to avoid variance, to keep things more. Yeah, we stick to our guns, because if I introduce a new class now, and there are any issues with that class, then it will just distract me and I'll have to look into that and things like that. I'm not gonna use any off healers, again, just not to mess with them. I just want to see what they can do. Let's mark everybody as usual. Let's set debug on. Yeah, we got the Draenei. The Draenei's got Chastise, and he's got that mana regen thing, right? So they are going for the holy talents. Yeah, more or less what you'd expect. Nothing crazy. yeah, pretty standard, I would say. They are ultimately building all the way to Circle of Healing. They will splash a little bit into Discipline to get the usual stuff, like Power, Fortitude, Shield, some Meditation, that sort of thing, but that happens at a much higher level. So let's get into it and see how that goes. We're gonna do bigger pulls. Wow, there's a boss right here. I didn't expect that. That changed. Alright, I'm not comfortable where they're fighting. I'm just going to use Come to get them into this next room. I see the hunter is struggling with the close range, but this gives you a chance to see how the hunters behave in situations like that. Obviously they're not perfect, I would say, but I forgot to set debug on. Oh, I have, alright. Yeah, we kind of pulled too many. I didn't expect there to be a boss right at the start of the dungeon. Right in the first room. That has definitely changed from vanilla. And the hunter is still struggling to find a place to go and shoot from. Let's try to get them to focus on the things that they need to kill, just so they can alleviate some of the damage. It's looking pretty sketchy. You see the priest is still doing some wanding. I mean, if he's got no mana, might as well just do something, you know? So I'm using focus marks just to try to get them to kill the things as soon as possible. The tank is about to die, but he's barely hanging on. Oh, you see that? Gift of the Narrow, everybody. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you, every single video, I'm telling you, it's the little things. It's literally the little things. First pull, we pull like 2 packs, we pull the boss. And just because they use Gift of the Narrow, because we have 2 Draenei, so both the tank and the Draenei guy. Let me see, what's the logic for Gift of the Narrow? But it literally has made all the difference. We won just because of that. Again, if you are in this fight, it could have gone even better. Let me look for Gift of the Narrow. Okay, so for them to use Gift of the Narrow, they're looking for a target who's below 50% HP. Also, the bot needs to have. Hold on a second. I'm not happy about this logic. I'm not happy about this logic. Okay, hold on. I'm not happy about this. I put a condition there where I said the whomever's casting needs to have fewer than 3 attackers. Because Gift of the Narrow has like 1.5 cast time. I don't think it's that terrible, so whatever. So look for a target who's below 50% HP and just cast it on him. Who cares? Boom, period. And you saw that it did make a difference. So if you look at healing done, exactly what I'm telling you. He used the healing potion, he used Gift of the Narrow, and this guy as well, he used Gift of the Narrow as well. So just by having 2 Draenei, it happened because they get randomized, right? Just by having that, it has literally made a difference. We managed to clear this. And this happens in every single run so far. So, you know, if it happens once or twice, you could say maybe it's a coincidence. So they literally pulled 2 rooms and the boss. I don't know. On the vanilla server, you would literally not be doing this at all. Like, you had no chance. You would be dead very, very quickly. So let's keep pushing them. I like to push them. Let's get this guy as well. Alright, everybody's kind of shifting this way. Let's get them over here. Yeah. The damage between the rogue and the hunter is very good. I have no complaints about that one. They're doing a great job. We looked at them previously, no problems. The rogue seems like he randomized with swords again, like the last time. He can randomize with swords, daggers, maces, fist weapons, you name it. And their talents would be automatically... they don't have, maybe later on we'll see that, but their talents would adjust, right? So whether they put dagger specialization, mace, whatever, to what weapons they are using. So that's done, let's say, dynamically. They'll figure that out. Also, bear in mind the fact that even though I'm not attacking, I am still taking damage, which means I put more strain on the healer unnecessarily, so that's also a reality. Also note that the owl is taking damage, so the owl is tanking some of these guys as well. If we look at damage taken, we can see the owl is contributing there. You also see that I take a lot of damage as well, so again, not ideal because I'm not contributing to anything to this fight. I'm just making it harder on the companions to deal with this. So yeah, it's like they're using training weights while they're doing this dungeon, just because I'm here, yeah, interfering with that. Obviously, I'm a priest and I'm wearing cloth and I'm taking a lot of damage, so the healer needs to do quite a bit more to keep me alive as well. And if you watched some of the previous videos when I talked about the heal target selection, you see, the hunter came all the way in here trying to find a place to shoot from, and he got into the melee range of this Defias prisoner. He dropped a trap and then he walked out and he found a place to shoot from. It is so funny. I mean, if it works, man, I don't care. I mean, obviously it's not the hunter ideal dungeon, but I'm purposefully doing this because I am personally just exhausted of hearing how the hunters suck and blah blah blah. Well, in all these dungeons we've used hunters, maybe not in the previous one because we were testing rogues and warriors. But in all these dungeons we're using hunters, and right now he pulled some extra stuff. But again, what he's providing is real and tangible. And you can also kind of figure out the logistics of this for yourself as well. Oh, this is a really big pool. Alright, let's use some School Mars to get everybody to focus on something. Probably should have done that earlier. Again, they're still using Gift of the Naru. This time I think we kind of pulled maybe too many, I'm not sure. But hey, if you want to be very cheeky, you can also just use some dynamite. Right, you can throw a dynamite and you'll see all of them throwing dynamites. And the tank went down. Oh, he used Symbol of Hope. A little bit late. But he was low on mana, so we accept that. If you look at who's tanking now, it's literally the pet who's tanking, guys. Literally, the pet is tanking. The hunter is probably healing the pet. Or not. Maybe the priest is healing the pet. If we look at healing done, can we verify that? Healing taken. I think I have to split it again. Yes. The priest was also healing the pet. Remember in one of the previous videos I said that I punched in for the hunters to also heal their pet when they're below 50%. Didn't need to, so literally the hunter off-tanked this. I mean, it's kind of his fault because he pulled all this group, but they successfully cleared this, so yeah, what do you care? They got the job done. They used Gift of the Naru. I did have to use a bomb. This is super easy to make. Just go smack some mines. It doesn't even matter. Get some stone, get some cloth. Build one of these and you're just gonna have so much easier time. Especially when you're doing big pulls like that. It matters. It makes the difference. We're just gonna pull, yeah, more dangerous stuff. We're gonna push them to the limit. Oh, another tank. Not tank, another boss. Let's try to focus the boss. Let's get everybody in this room. Oh, bombs are going out. Lots of AoEs. Everybody's still hanging in there, doing a good job. Alright, they got the boss down. Now they just gotta finish off these guys. Still using Gift of the Naru, everybody. Just look at them, right? Gift of the Naru, literally Draenei. Hunter is still trying to find a way to shoot from. Maybe I'll just manually place him. Come here and stay and shut the fuck up. Stop moving around. Still throwing bombs around. There we go. Tank is literally hanging on for dear life. And somehow the priest still finds the mana to save him. It's quite incredible. It's quite incredible. And again, look at the hunter damage. I don't know. I'm just saying, dude. Still within 5%. I'm okay with that. But results speak for themselves. Yes, I did have to move him myself with Kamstay because he was getting confused about where to sit. It's not perfect. It's not worth making it any more perfect because it would cost more processing power to do it. So I'll leave it up to you. But you saw it for yourself. The pet can tank. The pet can tank. Hunter damage is good. It is what it is. The rogue went up on this torture device just so he can be on the same height as everybody else. We should make a dwarf joke here. A dwarf joke would be appropriate. I saw a chastise going out. I forgot what chastise does. I think it deals some damage or something. Wow, these guys are dropping nothing, man. They're so stingy. I'm just gonna do another big pull. Oh, the hunter picked up quite a lot of aggro in there. There you go, symbol of hope, everybody. It's very nice. Let me see again what the symbol of hope is required. So, whomever is the Draenei, he needs to have less than 10% mana. Maybe you should do that earlier, to be honest. Let's put that at 25 or 20. Or 25 is fine. Group attackers, 3 or boss is attacking. Cool, that's okay. Just do it a little bit earlier, because if you do it at below 10%, I don't know. It also takes 15 mana to cast, so... Alright, well, they handled this as well. What's the cooldown on the Symbol of Hope? Oh, 5 minutes. There you go. There you go. Thank God, slightly better shield. Wow, Hunter is doing a buttload of damage. And you kind of... You can sort of expect that from now on, just because the Hunter's got multi-shot and the Rogue does not have any AoE. So, just because we're doing a lot of AoE situations, obviously the Hunter is gonna do better. You do have to make sure he's sitting in a spot he can shoot from sometimes. So maybe watch out for that, if you care. These guys are very stingy with the loot. Wow, this is gonna be a fast run, man. We're pulling some big packs. Let's go all the way. Use some consumables as well. Sharpen the webs. No, I can't. Yeah. I didn't give myself any... actually, I can, right? Because the staff should receive solid poops. Yeah. Hell yeah, we're going all the way. Well, there you have it. Pretty smooth run from start to finish. No YPs. We used a couple of consumables just to make it go a little bit faster, but otherwise, yeah, damn good job. We pulled 2 rooms at a time. We had a couple of close calls, but they handled it with their ratios. We saw gifts of the Narus going out, symbols of hope. Yeah, Hunter did pretty good damage as usual. Rogue within 5%, we're accepting that. The tank did a good job staying alive despite of all the damage that was coming his way. The priest did quite a bit of Holy Nova. You can see 50% of the damage was Holy Nova. So yeah, whenever he got a chance, he helped out. I have nothing to say about this. Pretty good. Way better than on vanilla. On vanilla, you're not gonna be pulling 2 rooms like this. It's kind of too crazy. But yeah, got nothing else. That's it. I'll see you in the next video.